Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is, Chapter 5, text number 17, which is on page 260 in this book. Chapter 5, text 17, 260. Tad buddhasyas tad atmanas. Tad buddhasyas tad atmanas. Tad nistas tad parayanaha. Tad nistas tad parayanaha. Yasyanti apunar avritim. Yasyanti apunar avritim. Jnana vidhuta kalmasa. Jnana nirdita kalmasa. Word for word. Tad buddhaya. Those whose intelligence is always in the Supreme. Tad atmanaha. Those whose minds are always in the Supreme. Tad nistaha. Those whose faith is always meant for the Supreme. Tat prayanaha. Those who completely taken shelter of Him. Ganchanti. Go. Apurna amritim. To liberation. Yana. By knowledge. Nirduta. Cleansed. Kamasaha. Misgivings. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge, thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Purport. The Supreme Transcendental Truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad-Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratapa means the Supreme Reality, who is understood by the knower of the Supreme as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality Godhead, is the last word in the Absolute. There is nothing more than that. Lord says, Mata parantaram nanyan kinchid asti jananjanaya. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi patistaham. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the Supreme Reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna, or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness, is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings, and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. A Krishna conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is duality. simultaneously identity and individuality in Krishna, and equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. Om Ariyanatandasya Janatana Slakaya Sakshu Imitam Jena Tasmei Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamaya Dantishva Padantika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama. One's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme. Then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. So the devotees in the 70s and in the 80s, devotees were joining the Krishna conscious movement, and there was a group of people called the deprogrammers. They were sent by the parents of the devotees to take their children out of Krishna consciousness because they thought we were brainwashed. The Prabhupada said, yes, when something's dirty, it needs to be washed. So here it says that one takes the Krishna consciousness, undoubtedly everything is washed clean of all misgivings, is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. So they're accusing us of brainwashing, but it's a fact that the brain needs to be washed, because that we were coming from a society where people are godless, where people are atheists, people follow different kinds of religions, but they don't have any clear understanding about who is the Supreme. And but this verse and purport substantiates the one point that the Supreme Truth is Lord Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Nandiyade Govinda Sarvakara Karanam. Krishna is the cause of all causes. And Parama Meti Brahma Meti Bhagavan Paramatma Meti Bhagavaniti Sabjate. So 3 phases. But Krishna, it says in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Teme Brahma Hridaya, Krishna imparted Vedic knowledge to Lord Brahma, and that Krishna is the name that should be given to God. It means the all-attractive one. So when Prabhupada wanted to incorporate the society in New York in 1966, he said we will call it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. But the lawyer said it's better to call it the International Society for God Consciousness. That would be more acceptable. But Prabhupada said, no, that's too vague. We want to call it the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, because we want people to know that Krishna is the person the one absolute truth. It says, Janma karma chame devyam evam yo veti tapata sadvadayam punardama natimam mahiti soarjuna. If one knows Krishna in truth, he doesn't have to take birth again in the material world. Tadvidi paripatena paripasena sevaya upadekshyanti te gyanastapa. One should approach a spiritual master, inquire for him submissively, render service unto him. He can impart knowledge unto you, because he's seen the truth. So, the Uttamaadhikari is being described here. Those whose intelligence is always in the Supreme. Intelligence means to know the difference between matter and spirit and control of both. So if one has fixed his intelligence, he can't be deviated. When the living entity comes in the material world, we are covered over by the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And we have to give in a false ego, which means instead of saying aham brahmasmi, that I'm a spirit soul, I'm the servant of God, we think I, me, mine, that I'm this body and everything that belongs to me is mine. This is the misconception. This is the polluted intelligence, thinking that everything is mine, and this body is mine, I belong to this country, this nation, this family is mine. All these misconceptions. So people think they have intelligence, but Maya Prikya, the scientists, the philosophers, their knowledge is stolen by illusion. They have a poor fond of knowledge, or they may have some intelligence about the material world, but they can't understand who is God. When Prabhupada was in his garden in Los Angeles, speaking to a group of professors, and he said, the first thing Prabhupada said, we're saying Krishna is God. You don't know who God is, so why don't you take it? So the Bhagavad-Gita says, the foolish living entity, under the spell of the three modes of material nature, cannot understand what is taking place because their minds are not developed and not engaged in self-realization. They cannot see things as they are, even if they try to. So the scientists, they may count all the atoms in the universe, they may count all the water and the drops of water and rainfall, but still they can't evaluate the qualities and the name, form, pastimes of the Supreme Personality, Godhead. So everyone is in illusion, and Maya. Maya is the material energy that covers the living entity when he comes in the material world. To think that he can enjoy in the material world, but he's not. His enjoyment is temporary, and he has to go through 8,400,000 species of life, repeated birth and death, in a cycle, going up and down, like the hamster in the cage. He runs on a wheel, but he's not getting anywhere. So people are taking one body after another, going from one species to another. Sometimes they're a germ, sometimes they're a horse or a cow, sometimes they're a demigod, sometimes they're a human being. They go in the round and round in different species, but they're not getting anywhere. Doesn't get them out of the material world. So the whole purpose is to proceed on the path, straight path of liberation, or to get out of the material world. There's two paths, Nivritti Marg and Pravritti Marg. Bhakti Marg is the path of sense gratification, and Nivritti Marg is the path of liberation. So people can choose. We have free will. We came in the material world because we misused our free will. Somewhere along the line, somehow or other, we had a choice to go and engage in loving service to Krishna, or come in the material world and try to imitate Krishna. So somehow we made the wrong decision, and we decided to come in the material world and try to be Krishna, or try to enjoy in the material world. Of course, so the Krishna comes 5,000 years ago, and he had his pastimes to prove that he was the Supreme Personality Godhead. And the different ages, in Satya Yuga, the white incarnation comes. In the Treta Yuga, red incarnation comes. In Dwapara Yuga, Krishna comes as in his black incarnation, and he comes once in the day of Brahma. And he comes to Yada Yada Dharmasya Gana Bhavati Bharata. He comes to annihilate the demons and to deliver his devotees. So this is the purpose of the Lord. He comes and personally comes to the material world, but he's never contaminated by the modes of nature. He's always above the influence of material nature. Although he comes and for some people, they think he's an ordinary living being. When Krishna left Vrindavan, he went to Mathura. The first person he met was the washerman who washed the clothes for Kamsa. So Krishna, Balaram, and all the choir boys asked the washerman to give them some cloth. They liked the cloth they had. But the washerman refused. He said, "You boys shouldn't be so impudent to ask for the king's clothes, or you'll be punished." So Krishna, with his hand, the side of his hand, he cut off the washerman's head, and they took all the cloth they wanted. Then he made a tailor who gave Krishna a nice reception, and Krishna was pleased with him and gave him a benediction that he could enjoy this world and not be in need of anything, and he'd go back to Godhead at the end of his life. Then he met a florist who gave him a garland and also gave him a nice reception, and Krishna was pleased with the florist and also benedicted him. So there was a difference. The non-devotee, the washerman, was an atheist. He didn't believe in God, and didn't believe in Krishna and Balaram, so he was punished. But the tailor and the florist were devotees, so they got the opposite result. They got the benediction from Krishna. So in this way, Krishna came in the material world, and many people thought he was an ordinary human being. Sometimes when Agashura came in the form of a python, and all the choir boys and calves, they marched into the mouth of the python. And Krishna was standing outside, and momentarily he acted like he was bewildered. He didn't know what to do. But this was just a show that he seemingly was an ordinary human being. And when Shalva came and Krishna was fighting with Shalva, Shalva made illusory Vasudev, and then he cut off his head and took him away, took away the body. So Krishna was also acted like he was bewildered at that time, playing the role of an ordinary human being. But Krishna's, from his very childhood, he lifted Govardhan heel with one finger, held it up for 7 days. He married 16,108 wives in Dwarka. He did so many uncommon things to prove that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the last Niramaya, people say that I'm God. So we say we're the kicking God. We kick you in the head with boots. Because no one can say they're God. No one can say that they're the controller of everything. And but everyone's being controlled by the modes of material nature. So the Krishna is the last word in the absolute truth. And the Bhagavad-Gita, it says here that the Bhagavad-Gita is centered around the declaration that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is the version of all Vedic literature. Savashachaham Ridishani Visto, Atasmatir Aganapoham Tam, Vedantakrit Vedavid Evachaham. Says that Krishna is the compiler of the Vedas, no other Vedas. So, but people don't know that. When Bharat Maharaj became Jad Bharat, he was a self-realized soul, but he was acting like a dull, dumb man. So his father entrusted him to his brothers, and they were not devotees. They were interested in the karma kanda section of the Vedas, so they couldn't understand that Jad Bharat was a great devotee. So there are many different kinds of people in this world who are following many different kinds of paths. But we have to fix our intelligence to know that beyond a doubt, the Krishna consciousness is the only genuine path. There should be one religion in this world, Krishna consciousness, one book, Bhagavad-Gita, and one God, Krishna. Krishna means the all-attractive one. So, there are many religions in the world who claim that their God is the best God. But there isn't many gods. Like the sun, there isn't many suns. There's one sun in the sky. It may shine in America, it may shine in China, it may shine in Russia, it may shine in India, but it doesn't become an Indian sun or a Russian sun or an American sun. So in the same way, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is greater than, equal to, or greater than God. Some people want to ask that if God had created everything, who created God? But that's a foolish question that can't be answered. And those who are covered by the modes of passion and ignorance can't understand about Krishna or Krishna consciousness. We have to come to the mode of goodness, Shuddha Sattva, and then you have to come to pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, to actually understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada was ordered by his Guru Maharaj to go to America, go to the English-speaking countries and preach Krishna consciousness, spread this movement. So, Prabhupada A.K. Guru Nandana, page 241 in the Bhagavad-Gita, says that one should have one-pointed intelligence. So Prabhupada fixes his mind, intelligence on the instruction of his Guru Maharaj. And by the grace of Krishna, somehow or other, he managed to go to the West to preach Krishna consciousness. But it wasn't an easy task, because everyone in America was in the mode of passion and ignorance. There's very little goodness. Everyone was only interest people have is eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And that is the same thing that the animals do. eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So human beings are distinguished from animals because we have higher intelligence. The animals don't have intelligence. If they put a sign on the lawn, keep off the grass, the animals can't read it, but the human beings can. So the human beings have developed intelligence. But one of them misuses his intelligence, then he's no better than the animals. So the intelligence should be always in the Supreme. So how do we fix our intelligence in the Supreme? We fix our intelligence in the Supreme by practicing Krishna consciousness. First thing in the morning, when we wake up, we offer our obeisances to the spiritual master. Then we go into the temple and attend the Mangalarti. Then we worship Tulsi Devi. Then we chant the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we have Guru Puja, then we have Bhagavatam class. So by this way, our whole morning we're engaging our mind, engaging our intelligence in Krishna conscious activities. At least the brahmacharis and sannyasis and the vanaprasthas can do that. Vyasas have problems because they have to go to work, they have to take care of the children, so they can't be totally in Krishna consciousness. But the brahmachari sannyasis can. One whose mind is always in Supreme. The mind is the best of friends and worst of enemies. So we should not listen to our mind. The mind, it says here that the mind, one who understands this, has controlled his mind, and super soul is reached. So the mind is the subject matter in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Avanti Brahman says that all his problems were due to the mind. Also Lord Kapila Dev says that, Lord Rishabdev says that. So throughout the Bhagavatam, it's describing the mind, the mad mind. So the mind may dictate so many things, but we should treat it like a wrong number. Someone calls, you say wrong number, hang up the phone. Or you push the button, cell phone, wrong number. So we shouldn't listen to our mind, because the mind can drag one away. It says one should not sit alone with one's wife, daughter, or sister, because they can be swept away by the mind. So the mind has to be fixed here. The mind always in the Supreme. So we can do that by chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the mind is there. When we're chanting, the mind wanders. So we have to keep bringing it back. The Prophet said we should just hear the sound of the mantra and try not to hear anything else. Gradually, the mind will be more controlled. The mind is compared to wild horses. If you have some wild horses, you can put them in a corral or fence them in so they're under control. But if the fence breaks or they get out, then they'll go wild again. So our mind has to be controlled by chanting Hare Krishna, by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, by taking Krishna Prasadam, by associating with devotees. Then we can keep our mind under control. But if we associate with non-devotees, if we get on the computer and look at the wrong things, mundane movies or mundane things, or read mundane literatures, then our mind will be distracted from Krishna consciousness. So we have to be diligent to see that our mind is not distracted and that we don't associate with the worldly minded people. It says that satsanga tyag a vaishnava achar, and it says that we should only associate with devotees, and one should not associate with women, especially or men who are attached to women, because that will deviate us from Krishna consciousness. So the brahmachari and the sannyasi, should be very strict. They only deal with women for important business or for preaching, but not otherwise. Because even Prabhupada's servant, Prabhupada warned his servant, Shruti Kirti, don't go in the kitchen with the women. He didn't listen to Prabhupada, or somehow he had to do that, and eventually had to get married and leave Prabhupada's service. So Prabhupada knew that he could be allured at any moment. Even the servant of Lord Chaitanya, Krishnadas, was allured by the Bharaharis, a group of gypsies, who allured him in the middle of the night. They had mystic power. They can control people's minds. So they lured Krishnadas, took him away. He was allured by women. So Lord Chaitanya had to go to their camp and pull him out by his hair. And when he was doing that, the Bharaharis, they came in to attack Lord Chaitanya with weapons, swords and choppers. But the weapons turned around and started cutting up the people who were attacking Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya pulled his servant out and kept him with him on his South Indian tour. But when he got back to Jagannath Puri, then he rejected him. Because even the servant of Lord Chaitanya had free will. And Lord Chaitanya is omniscient, omnipotent. He could understand his servant would misbehave. But he didn't interfere with him because he had his free will. So after he went back to Puri, Lord Chaitanya told him not to come, said he should go away. But the devotees were more kind than the Lord himself, so they kept him in the service of the Lord. So in this way, Krishna came 5,000 years ago as the Yuga avatar in a black complexion and performed his many wonderful pastimes. The living entities have 50 qualities. The demigods have 55 qualities. These expansions of Krishna, Vishnu Tattva expansions, have 5 more qualities. And Krishna has 4 qualities that no other living entities have. That is, he plays on his flute, he has wonderful pastimes, he has loving devotees, and he has a beautiful bodily form. So people misunderstand. If you look in a dictionary, sometimes they have a definition of Krishna as being an expansion of Vishnu. Because Vishnu has 4 arms and Krishna has 2 arms, and we have 2 arms. So they think that Krishna is an expansion of Vishnu. But Krishna is too Bhagavan Swayam. He's the Supreme Personality Godhead. Everything expands from him. Krishna is the original person. Balaram is the first expansion. From Balaram comes Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudev. Then comes all the forms of Mahavishnu forms and the Vaikuntha planets. Then there comes the second quadruple expansion. Then comes the Purusha avatar, the Vishnu forms in the material world. They come to the material world. Karnadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kishiradakshay Vishnu. So all these forms are emanating from Krishna. So Krishna is the source of everything. This should be clearly understood. Here it says Krishna is the supreme reality. So the Mayavadis, Prabhupada taught us that the Mayavadis say Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya, that everything is false in the material world, and the only thing is real is Brahman. But they don't know about Supreme Personality Godhead. The material world is not false, but it's temporary. And to merge in Brahman, here it says, Brahmano hi pratistaham. Krishna says that I'm the source of Brahman. But that's not the final destination. And those who merge into Brahman and who don't remain there, it's not a permanent situation. They can again come back in the material world, although it's part of the spiritual world. So Krishna is Bhagavan, which means he has 6 opulences in full: wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, which no one else can say they have. Some person may be very rich, some person may be very strong, some person may be very intelligent, but no one can claim to have 6 of these things in full. And Krishna has 3 features, 3 energies of Krishna: the Brahma-meti, Parama-meti, and Bhagavan-iti Sabhyate. So the Brahman effulgence is there, and that's the goal of the Jnanis and the Mayavadis, impersonalists. And then there's the Paramatma feature, the Lord sitting in everyone's heart, and that's the goal of the yogis, to meditate on the super soul. But the Bhagavan feature, that is the supreme feature of the Lord. And those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, we don't have to make a separate endeavor to understand the Paramatma or the Brahman effulgence. It'll all be included when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada says there's nothing more than that. And Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, Mata Parantarananyat Kinchid Atsi Jananjaya. Everything is resting on me as pearls are strung on a thread. So if you have pearls on a thread, you can't see the thread, but the thread is holding up the pearls. So it's like that. Krishna is not visible to the common man. He comes by his Atma Maya, by his Yoga Maya potency. He's covered. It's like Vrindavan. Krishna is having his Nitya Lila, his eternal pastimes in Vrindavan. But Premanjana Trite Bhakti Vilochanena, one has to have the eyes tinged with the salve of love. One has to have the eyes to see Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, which are going on eternally. And it's a road show which goes from one universe to the next. But Krishna's pastimes are always going on somewhere in the material world. Aprakra Lila. But at the same time, Krishna's pastimes are going on in Golok Vrindavan and in the spiritual world. So only those souls are purified and have no more misgivings. Here it says misgivings or doubts or misunderstanding. Only the pure devotees, those who are pure in nature, can understand this. It's not possible. It's that the foolish living entity cannot understand how he accepts his body or how he quits his body. But those who have the eyes of knowledge can see all this clearly, can see all this. So one must have jnana chakshush, eyes of knowledge. We can see through the eyes of knowledge. So the spiritual master, he's our via media. When the eyes are weak and you can't see properly, you have to wear glasses. So the spiritual master is our glasses. And the spiritual master is Srila Prabhupada. He came to give us Krishna consciousness. And he was ordered by his spiritual master that if you ever get money, to print books. So Prabhupada had to write the books, to print the books, because he didn't have the books to print. There may have been a few books around in the English language, but very few that may not give the right interpretation. Even in the Bhagavad-Gita, one lady came to Prabhupada and said, "Can you recommend the Bhagavad-Gita for me to read?" Because if you go in a bookstore in America or anywhere in the world, there are 20, 30, 40 different translations of Bhagavad-Gita. The Prabhupada said, no, I'm sorry, I can't recommend any of those, because the people who are materially motivated try to translate Bhagavad-Gita for their own interests. They can't give the real knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada gave us Bhagavad-Gita as it is, Atar Rup. So Bhagavad-Gita as it is, he's presenting the Bhagavad-Gita as Krishna spoke it. He's not giving any of his personal misinterpretation. That some people want to say that the Bhagavad-Gita was spoken on the battle of Kurukshetra, that the Kurukshetra is the body and the five Pandavas are the senses. They want to give some misinterpretation. Or Dr. Radhakrishna, as Prabhupada had his Bhagavad-Gita, he was using his translations. He said that Krishna says, Mamana Bhava Mad Bhakto, always think of me. He said, Krishna, not Krishna, but Krishna from within. So he was trying to make a distinction that Krishna and Krishna from within are different. So nobody could give a proper interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita until Prabhupada came and translated the Bhagavad Gita and printed the Bhagavad Gita. So people should take the time to read Bhagavad Gita and understand that what is being said there. This way we can have faith. This is a shraddha, faith. Beginning, when one comes to Krishna consciousness, first we develop a little faith. We go to the temple associated with devotees. So by having a little faith that Krishna consciousness is a better process or a better way of life, we associate with devotees. And then we take to the process of Krishna consciousness after 6 months or 1 year of chanting 16 rounds of Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we decide to take initiation or diksha, get initiated into the holy name. Because unless one changes his name and gets initiated, changes his name, he can't go back to Godhead. So at that point, we begin to practice Krishna consciousness in a serious way. We make a promise that we'll chant 16 rounds every day. In the beginning, Prabhupada wanted his disciples to chant 64 rounds, which Bhaktisiddhanta had them do in the Math in India. But the devotees said, no, we can't do that, it's too hard, too much service, no time. So Prabhupada said, okay, chant 32 rounds. The devotee said, no, too hard, no time. Then Prabhupada said, 16 rounds, no less. So he made that the standard, 16 rounds. But it's the minimum, not the maximum. But if you have more time, you can chant as much as you want. Some people chant 1 lakh in the month, in the Chaturmasha, on Kartik. So you can chant more and more and more. But you must chant at least 16 rounds. And they asked Prabhupada, if you didn't chant 16 rounds every day, what was the consequences? And Prabhupada said, if someone doesn't chant 16 rounds after promising, that he's no better than an animal. So you have to make sure we chant our 16 rounds every day. That will keep us in the mode of goodness. Keep us away from the allurements of the material world, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling, meat eating. So if you can't chant your 16 rounds one day, if you only chant 10, 12 rounds one day, next day you have to chant those rounds and then chant 16 rounds the next day. Before you eat or sleep, you have to make up your rounds. So every day you have to chant 16 rounds. Of course, if you're sick or something, then you can't chant, and that's a different story. But you can, when you get well, you can make up the rounds you missed when you were sick. So this is the process. It's called Vaidhi Bhakti. The chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. And then we come to the stage of anartha vritti, when all the anarthas are washed away from the heart, and then we can enter into Raga Nuga Bhakti, or spontaneous devotional service. Vaidhi Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti is divided into two categories, the Vaidhi Bhakti and Raga Nuga Bhakti. In the Vaidhi Bhakti process category, we follow the rules and regulations very strictly. But when one comes to the platform of Raga, spontaneous platform, he comes to the stage of Nistha, when he has firm faith. Firm faith. Faith means putting your faith in something sublime. From Nistha, Ruchi, he gets some taste. From Ruchi, Astakti, attachment, and then from Bhava Bhakti, and then Prema Bhakti. So it's a gradual process. It may not happen. It doesn't happen overnight. Someone can't attain Bhava or Prema overnight. But we have to do our best to try to come to that platform, to try to get free from the influence of the modes of nature, to try to develop our Krishna consciousness. A person who becomes Krishna conscious, he dances and chants like a madman, exhibiting exact symptoms. Sometimes he cries, sometimes he laughs, but chant and dance like a madman, not caring for outsiders, is a Krishna conscious person. So the symptoms are there if someone is becoming Krishna conscious. We see there's the Kanistha Bhakta, there's the Madhyama Adhikari, and there's the Uttama Adhikari. So these three levels, Kanistha Bhaktas don't have firm faith and can be deviated. The Madhyama Adhikari, they know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They know they associate with devotees. They have firm faith. They associate with devotees. They avoid the non-devotees and preach the innocent. So the Madhyama Adhikari, he's always engaged in preaching Krishna consciousness, and therefore he's doing the work. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago, and he started his Sankirtan movement. It says, Harinam, 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 Eva Kevalo, Kaluna Stevana, Stevana, Steva, Gapchiranyata. In this age of Kali, there's no other way, no other way, no other way but chanting the holy name of the Lord. So this is the right path. There's two paths. You're going to go to Delhi, you go to the highway. If you turn left, you go the wrong way. If you turn right, you go the right way. So you have a choice which way to go. So if you want to stay in the material world and have your material sense gratification, then you can go on, that is the wrong path. But if you want to get out of the material world, and go back to Godhead and enjoy with Krishna, get a Satchidananda body, then you can take the path of Krishna consciousness. So Lord Chaitanya taught Achinta Veda Veda Tattva, simultaneously one and different. They were all equal to Krishna in quality, but not in quantity. It's like the drop of water from the ocean has all the qualities of the ocean, but it can never become the ocean. So we can never become God, we never can become Krishna, but we have all the qualities of Krishna. It only has to be awakened. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. It is is in the heart of all living entities, the natural propensity to become Krishna consciousness. It's like a child has the propensity to walk, but gradually he starts to walk. So in the same way, we can revive our Krishna consciousness by following the process that is given by Srila Prabhupada, given by all the Acharyas, given by the six Goswamis. They were conquered over eating, sleeping. They only slept for 1 hour a day, ate very little, and they wrote many books for the benefit of human society. So we should, from this purport, we should understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that He's the absolute truth, there's nothing more than this, that He's the Supreme Reality, that the mind, intelligence, faith, refuge should always be in Krishna, or one should, it should always be fully in Krishna consciousness, and which should not be deviated in any way. And this will make our life perfect. So we have to be very careful. Krishna consciousness is like a razor's edge. We have to be very careful not to commit offenses. When the Guru Krishna provided by Bhakti-Lata Bij, at the time of initiation, we get the seed of devotional service. This is described by Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami in the 19th chapter of the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. That creeper, Bhakti-Lata Bij, is planted in the heart of the devotee at the time of initiation. The creeper begins to grow. When you have a small plant, you have to fence it around, because there are animals like the monkeys and the dogs and hogs, elephants will come and destroy it. So that fencing is done by following the regulated principles and by associating with devotees. So there's 64 items given in Nectar Devotion, 64 limbs of devotional service that we should all follow. And then the creeper has to be watered. And the watering process is Shravanam Kirtanam. 9 processes of devotional service, but Shravanam Kirtanam is the most important. When Lord Chaitanya was in South India, he emphasized this. He met the Tapabhadis who thought Varnashram Dharma was the way to attain perfection, but he defeated them and made them understand that Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting the Lord's name, form, qualities, pastime, this was more the way to attain perfection. Especially chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So wherever Lord Chaitanya went, he chanted the holy name, and he spread his Krishna consciousness movement all over South India. And so the creeper grows by the watering process of Shravanam, hearing and chanting. But at the same time the creeper grows, weeds grow along with it, which are called anarthas, or the unwanted things in the heart, like duplicity, gambling, profiteering, wanting profit, adoration, distinction, patista. All these things are there in the heart, the dirt in the heart. Even Queen Kunti is praying to the Lord that the mud in the heart can be cleansed away. So the dirty things that are there in the heart may come out in the form of weeds. And if one's not careful, he won't recognize the weeds, because they look like the creeper, the Bhakti-Lata, but they're not the same species. So the weeds grow along with the creeper, and then the creeper gets choked out, destroyed. And that's why people leave Krishna consciousness. They lose their taste for chanting, they commit offenses to devotees, and they develop desires to have sense enjoyment, sense gratification, because they weren't diligent gardeners. So we have to be good gardeners, always water the creeper, carefully water the creeper, Shravanam Kirtanam. We always engage in hearing and chanting 24 hours a day or as much as possible, especially in Vrindavan. We should not think there's any other activity. All people all over the world should understand that there's nothing else in this world but becoming Krishna conscious. We come in the world with nothing, we go leave the world with nothing, so why spend so much time making money, accumulating so many things when you can't take anything with you? You're simply wasting your time. The devotees know the time should be spent in Krishna consciousness, serving Krishna, and there's no other business in this world besides becoming Krishna conscious. So we don't say that one should neglect his duties, but he should try to focus on the point, focus on that Krishna consciousness is more important. Sukadeva Goswami would go to the householders. He only stayed long enough to milk a cow. And he would preach to the householders, because householders are considered poor-hearted. They think that family life is their first business and spiritual life is their second business. So Sukadeva Goswami would preach to them that Krishna consciousness was their first business. So everyone, no matter what ashram you're in, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyas, should understand that Krishna consciousness is our only business in this life, that we somehow or other we've come in this material world. Lord Chaitanya is praying, somehow I came in this material world, but he's praying to Krishna, please pick me up and fix me an atom at your lotus feet. And somehow or other we've come in this material world, we should desire to get out of the material world, go back home, back to Godhead. And we should not think there's any other process that's better, there's any other system that's better than this Krishna consciousness. And they asked Prabhupada, what if Krishna's not God? He said, well, we still have the best lifestyle. So we have the best lifestyle. We have our morning program, association with devotees, Krishna Prasadam. We have nice, everything is nice in Krishna consciousness. So we shouldn't think there's anything else in this world that's better than Krishna consciousness. So therefore, we have to, it's an individual process though. When the planes are flying in the sky, if one plane is, planes are flying in formation, the one plane gets shot down, nothing the other planes can do. So it's, God helps those who help themselves. We have to be very careful in our Krishna consciousness so that we can stay in Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead. So three things, the mind, intelligence, and faith should all be fixed in the Supreme. This is the process. Hare Krishna. Anybody have any comments, questions? Here's a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You were mentioning that we have to control the mind completely. If it's calling you, you just pick wrong number. But I think in the 11th canto I was reading some time ago, it was saying the mind is like a wild horse. Sometimes you have to let it go a little bit, but then again, bring it back under control. So how to explain that? I mean, you get to let your mind do what it wants for a little bit, but then bring it back? How do you explain that? Is that just for neophytes or?
No, you shouldn't let the mind do what it wants.
But it's mentioned that mind's like a wild horse. When you're trying to tame it, you let it run a little bit, but then again you catch it. Because if you just hold on to it, it'll kick you off.
Well, if you catch it, that's all right. But if you don't catch it, but we shouldn't do things that are going to distract our mind. We should be careful that we only stay in association with devotees. Only eat Krishna Prasadam. That we stay strict. Don't watch television. Don't go to movies. Don't do things that will deviate our mind. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mantra Bhagavad-Gita ki jai.